Hi everyone, my name is Derek Hicks, and for my leadership book report, I chose Leaders Eat Last: Why Some Teams Pull Together and Others Don't by Simon Sinek. I've really picked this book because it really connects with how I view leadership in my own work at John Deere, especially around trust, teamwork, and leading by example. Simon, he really is a well-known author and motivational speaker who studies what makes organizations and leaders successful. He's probably best known for his earlier book, Start With Why, but Leaders Eat Last. Focuses more on how great leaders create environments where people feel safe, valued, and supported. That's something that really resonated with me. For the main thesis of this, the main message of Leaders Eat Last is that leadership really isn't about power or status, it's about service. He explains that the best leaders create what he calls a circle of safety, really a culture where people trust each other, take risk, and really feel connected from external threats. When people know that their leader has their back, they really perform better and stay loyal to the mission. He uses examples from businesses and the military to show how leaders who put others first build, more stronger, more productive teams. I really like that idea because it mirrors what I've experienced working in support and problem solving roles. When people feel safe to speak up, everything really works better together, a better cohesive unit, I would say. So the five key leadership lessons. Lesson number one: leaders sacrifice for their people. One of the biggest lessons from the book is that great leaders put their teams well being ahead of their own. He really tells stories of leaders who take responsibility for when things go wrong instead of blaming others or other teams. This reminded me of a ransomware attack. I handled as a dealer technology manager in a prior role. Really coordinated with the global cybersecurity teams at midnight to protect our dealers and systems. No one got thrown underneath the bus. We really worked together well, and the systems were restored to full capacity. That experience taught me that leadership really means showing up for your team even when it's tough or in a different time zone. Lesson two is kind of build a circle of safety. Leaders create trust by removing fear from the workplace. When people feel secure, they share ideas, and take initiatives. I've seen this really firsthand at Deere. When team members know their input is valued, they're more confident in tackling complex issues. In my current role as a territory customer support manager, I try to create the same sense of safety by communicating clearly and giving credit when it's due, especially when working directly with dealers. Lesson three is empathy drives performance. Sinek, he emphasizes empathy as a core leadership skill. It's about listening and understanding what your people need to do their best work. That ties directly into one of my Cliff Note strengths, realtor, because I naturally build deeper relations with people I work closely with, and then when I take time to listen and to connect, I can lead more effectively and solve problems before they escalate. The fourth lesson is consistency and integrity matter. Another major takeaway is that strong leaders can earn trust through consistent, reliable behavior. People who follow those and do what they say. This really hits home for me because consistency and responsibility were also at the top of my strengths quest assessments. Whether I'm leading a project or something regarding supporting dealers, I know people can count on me to follow through. That dependability really builds credibility and confidence for other people and myself. Kind of the fifth lesson is leadership is your choice, not a rank. Sinek, he says leadership isn't defined by your title, it's defined by your actions. You can be a leader even when you're not in charge. That really reminded me of one of my best followership moments when I backed a colleague during a major software rollout. I really supported their plan going into this project, asked questions early, and really helped them succeed. That experience proved that you don't need authority to influence outcomes. You just need initiative and the right attitude. Kind of like influence without authority. Some personal reflection on this for me is What stood out the most to me about Leaders Eat Last is how much it aligns with what kind of leader I want to be. Sinek's message about courage and empathy really connects with my goal to lead through trust rather than control. I realize that my best leadership moments have come from collaborations, not command when I empower others instead. And that really drives me to handle everything, to delegate and not handle everything myself. I also saw that some of my weaknesses, like hesitating to challenge bad decisions or taking on too much responsibility, can really hold me back from being the kind of leader who truly creates like a circle of safety. This book reinforced my commitment to really keep growing through consistency, empathy, and better communication. It's also challenged me to focus more on developing others, not just solving problems myself. And I think that really picked that up from a mentor that I have at work as well. So, as I continue to lead at John Deere, I want to keep putting people first because when your team feels valued and protected, they give their best efforts every time. And, to wrap this up, Leaders Eat Last taught me that leadership really is about service, trust, and empathy. The best leaders don't demand loyalty. They earn it by protecting their people and giving them space to thrive and be successful. So, thank you for your time.